Hey guys, welcome back. Today's planting day, so I have a lot to plant. I'm going to show you what I have so far, and always have a plan. I have written down on a piece of paper what I'm putting what in what bed. It is a little bit of planning in case you want a companion plant, and I companion plant. I think it's beneficial, but I'm going to show you some tomatoes I did yesterday and how I'm going to do them today, and then what else I'm putting in my beds. All right, here's some I planted yesterday. And I have a trellis system of cattle panels put up. But I have a tomato here and a tomato here. Now this is in ground. I'm not limited on space, so I can plant a lot. And I plant close together. Where I see people when they plant really far away, like they'll plant one here and they won't start the next one till over here. Well, that's a huge space. They don't need that much space. You're wasting space in your garden. So as long as you're about 10 to 12 inches away from each other, if you're in the ground and stuff, they'll be fine. And I'm going to put hay or straw underneath all of these. And you can see I planted all the way up to the leaves, set of leaves. These were long. They were really leggy, and I needed to get them down. So I pulled off all the leaves, which I'm going to show you in a second. And I pulled off all the leaves all the way to the top set, and I buried them in the ground with some fertilizer, some granulate fertilizer that I'm going to water in. You see, I have a big long row. I'm going to finish this row, and then I'm going to put some companion plants in front of these tomatoes to help repel the bad bugs and bring the good ones in. So I'm going to start laying out my tomatoes right here to the end of this. All right, so I'm going to pop these out. You see how leggy they are? They're very leggy. They were begging to go on the ground. That's okay. I'm going to dig them down deep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop them out, and I'm going to place them where I want them, okay? And I'm going to do that for the whole thing. I'm going to keep placing one on each side, and just keep going down until I have them. Then I'm going to dig their holes, but you can tell they've been ready to go in the ground. I started these from seed, and they're ready. Okay, so I'm going to dig down. Some people that can't dig down really far, they lay them on their side. You do that too. I don't feel it's necessary to do that. You can just mount it up around it. But I'm going to dig down pretty far. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pinch off all these leaves. And I'm going to do this one all the way to the top 3. I leave about 3, and I'm going to plant it all the way to here. So all these hairs will become roots, and you'll have a strong root system. All right, you'll need some type of tomato food. You don't have to use this certain brand. It's just what I got on sale. I'm not loyal to a certain brand. You buy what's easy for your family, and I throw about a half a handful down in the hole, and then I'll plant it right inside there and then cover it up. And I'm going to do that for all these tomatoes. The exact same thing for all of them. All right, so you throw it in there, start covering up, and I push down on all the sides around, and then I mount it up around it and push down. It goes all the way up to the stem, you see? So I put it all the way up. It's not going to hurt your plants. Put it all the way up, and then put some pressure around it just to hold it in, and then put some straw or hay around it. All right, I'm going to show you some of the companion plants I'm planting with the tomatoes, and I'm going to intersperse it along the rim. I have marigold. This is borage. I have 2 different types of basil, and I have some cosmos that are popping up from last year, which is fine. I have some nasturtium and dill. Dill, nasturtium, and all these are really good companion plants for tomatoes. And you can plant them interspersed between them, or you can put them on the rim. It doesn't really matter. When the tomatoes get really big, it kind of hides it if it's in the middle, so I put it on around the rim. Okay, I got all of my tomatoes in, and then my dill, my nasturtium, basil, marigolds mixed in, and in front of my tomatoes, I'm going to plant my bell peppers. And I have them in little rows interspersed going down, and I'm going to do the same thing I did for the tomatoes by putting in just a vegetable food, whatever you can get. I'm going to just sprinkle a tiny bit in each hole. Now, the peppers, you don't have to pull off any leaves. They're really too small to do anything like that, but once they get bigger, some people top them, they cut them so they can get bushier. I've done both, and I haven't seen a significant difference between them, so that's personal preference. I probably won't top mine because to me, it doesn't make a difference. But you can, if you want to try both ways. But all the other basil and everything is okay for your bell peppers also. So I'm going to plant all these with the food at the bottom of the hole. 6 hours later, we planted almost everything in my garden. I tried to film some of it, but my neighbor started mowing when I was doing all that, so we just planted. I'm just going to take you around and show you what I planted together and where I put stuff. I know that you can't really see them because some of the plants are small, but in this I direct sowed cucumber seeds, and in front of it I have the nadapinos, the jalapenos that are not hot, and I have some nasturtium. And this trellis right here is going to be for cucumbers also. And I put some chocolate bell peppers right here, and then some curly parsley. And this is the bed I was doing earlier. Now I have in the front of these and in the back of them some bell peppers. And then I have some calendula and some borage in the back, along with nasturtium and dill and basil. And I interspersed the basil. It's small right now because I just transplanted, but it'll get big. But I put tomatoes through here. I think we planted, my daughters and I planted about 250 tomatoes today, so we're a little tired. This is tomatoes also. I have to get more T-post, but I needed to set them. More tomatoes. And I did the tomatoes the same way as the first set. Then I have, this is the stuff that was already in. This is my carrots, and then my lettuce and potatoes. And then I have red Russian kale, dinosaur kale, and I think kohlrabi down there. But this is another tomato bed. This bed, I actually put sweet potatoes in on the side, this side. Then right here, I put bush beans. They're good companions. And I direct sowed these seeds, so they're not going to be up for a little while. More tomatoes, and then over there I put some squash. And I'm going to make another mound and put zucchini in it. Did a bunch of onions right here. Shishito peppers. And all of these are, I know you can't see them because they're really little, but these are serrano peppers and jalapenos that go all the way down. And I did mix in basil and dill and stuff like that in here because it's good for good companions. And that whole bed right there is going to be wildflowers. So, not really worried about that one, but we direct sowed that one. These are beets. I haven't figured out what I'm going to put here yet. I'm still looking. And then back here behind the onions, because I have multiple different rows of onions. On the back row I planted ground cherries because we really love ground cherries. And in here I just mixed, I have tomatoes all the way down. All these trellises have tomatoes, and I have to put those up higher. I gotta get more T-post. But I put wildflowers, sowed them in the front along this bed, and then I put borage, nasturtium, basil, and also marigolds, just sporadic in here because everything's just really tiny. It will grow really fast. Then I have cilantro back here growing on the back edge. Here's some more onions, and then I have some more right there, and we planted some baby onions right behind it. So if you want a prolonged harvest of onions, you have to plant them a couple weeks afterwards. And you can, usually starting by seed is harder because you have to get it up and it takes a while. Mine were from seed a couple different times, and I started them really early this year, but I'm all out of the onions now. But I know it doesn't look, you just can't see them, but there's a lot, and my garlic's getting ready to come out in about a month because I started mine a little bit earlier. But many hours later, we are done for today at least. And you can see my little tomatoes. Now I did use, of course, the tomato tone and the other tomato feed, and then I used garden tone for everything else, and I put it in the hole just like I did the tomatoes. That way it will have some fertilizer on it. It's supposed to rain the next 2 days, and we'll see what we get. Now I actually have a whole lot more to plant. I'm just running out of room. This usually happens around this time, but I am getting ready to take out the garlic, so I'll have 2 extra beds. And I have some more beds over here by the greenhouse where I'm going to put corn, hopefully more squash and zucchini, and then also watermelon. Hope you guys can get some inspiration off of this video to go out and plant your gardens and companion plant. And a lot of people says it's useless. That is not true. Anyone who's ever companion planted understands how beneficial it is for your other plants, especially to attract good pollinators. So I do it, and you end up with more than just one product at a time. So if you put onions with tomatoes, you get both of them instead of just tomatoes, and you're not wasting space, and you're using every inch available to you instead of putting them really far apart, which I've never understood. And they're not going to hurt being put 10 to 12 inches apart from each other. I mean, it's not much, but I'm going to show you, to end this video, show you my strawberry bed that has actually given me a lot this year. We've eaten off it. I've even frozen a whole bag of it. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, so little update before I end this video. It's been exactly 10 days since I planted my tomatoes. See how much they've grown, and they even have suckers on them that I'm gonna have to come get off. But they've grown a lot since I put them in, and it helps that you put the food in the bottom of the hole with it. You can see my bell peppers doubled in size. But it helps that it's warm. Bell peppers won't grow unless it's warm, so you gotta make sure it has warmth. And you see that? The basil, how it was so tiny and it's not now. Go plant your gardens.